Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. This is mtrunk85, and what we have here is a 2013 Chevrolet Tahoe LTZ, and this particular model has the, I think was what they call the active suspension on it. Do you ever feel like you're seasick in your car when you're going over bumps and stuff? Like you're riding a boat? Yeah. That's when your struts and shocks are bad. So looking over the internet, in fact, I wasn't here. I wasn't at the vehicle when I actually ordered it, but what I ordered was the what I'm calling the passive struts. So these passive struts, we got these from Auto Direct car, yeah, and these are the passive. So these were relatively cheap, and they did verify that they fit this vehicle. However, this has the active system on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not use the active system on this vehicle. It's not really worth the extra cost, in my opinion. I used a passive strut, and actually I didn't realize, but that was throwing a code, so I just installed them, ran it down the road, it started throwing the code. I just thought maybe it, being it was an output to the shocks, that it would not be active, so that was wrong on that. I'll put that link in there. I can make a video, and then I'll just add this clip to that to say that you do need to order the magnetic struts if you don't want to have the suspension code. I'll put the links to the ones that I bought. I actually changed the internals. I compressed the springs on the struts and put the new ones in. And the only thing you have to be careful with there, I did use strut compressors, 2 per spring, and you have to align those struts. If you didn't know that, I've never done that before. So this first time I did it, I got it right because I just had it the same way as the original. The second time I did it, it was cocked a little bit, so I actually had to go back and recompress the spring, and you compress those springs down enough to where you can turn it. So anyway, I want to go ahead and I'll add this into that video, and then that's it. So to do this, and it's relatively easy. Of course, if you had the active ones, get the sticker off, it would come in right here, just plug in right on top. So the sensor's on the side of the A-arm, and I'll show you that in just a second, and I'll show you the connector that goes on top. We're in here, and you can see the sway bar link right here. That's going to be making a rattle there. Okay, we have 2 bolts on the bottom, 15 millimeter. We'll pull that off, and then the ones up here, these are 18 millimeter. We'll go ahead and get those loose, and the stud. Let me bring you in on that. Here is the sensor right here. Factory, of course, uses all these kind of stop nuts and things. That makes it real nice. One thing with this particular kit, these struts are called True Drive, whatever. I reused the factory studs because the ones that came with the kit, they were new. However, they had a shoulder, and the strut, when it was all the way tight on that shoulder, I could still move the strut. So I would imagine that's going to move around, and we don't want that. Okay, so I didn't have an 18 millimeter. I'm using a 3/4. These are not super tight, so this is going to work here. In order to get this plug off, you have to push in on this spring connector right here. So it's got a little catch, and it catches on there. And there's also a little plastic setup here that you have to push down on to remove, so it'll activate. So what I found, see, with that sway bar link off, it's easy to maneuver. You can get it up and down. Okay, and we'll just push it in and slide it down. You might find it easy to kind of rest on the A-arm assembly, and then slide that out. Okay, through the A-arm and underneath. All right, so here is the active, and there is a pin in the inside, so there is some kind of mechanical coil or some sort to activate this. All right, so we're gonna go back underneath, pull it in. It's a pretty heavy situation. Now we're ready to go up with it. Okay, so what I found is, like I said, you kind of put your body weight on this. Once you get the holes established on the top side, push down and then bring the bottom of portion of that strut up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I'm going to use the original bolts on the bottom because of that shoulder that I said earlier. So we've got our two original bolts and new nuts on the bottom side. And these are 15 millimeter all the way around. Put our sway bar link in. Now I've got the nut off, and I'm just going to take all the bushings off, except for one on the very bottom. Just like that. And it's going to come underneath, and then I'm going to put a rubber bushing on, and then the metal spacer. Or no, I guess washer is what it is, I guess. Then push it up, and I'm going to put the metal cup washer and the rubber bushing on. Put the little lip right there to where it goes into the metal and not into the washer. Okay. Oh, so might be a little hard to get this in. Have to push down on the A-arm assembly and come up with it. Okay, same here. The lips on the bushings go to the inside. Kind of helps centralize it inside the metal, and then the washer, the cup side towards the rubber. Threads going so you don't end up stripping it with your impact, or if you're going to use some type of impact. Don't want to strip the threads. Okay, just got it pulled out. I want that rubber to be smashed in there, make that nice and tight. And I've got my impact driver on the lowest setting. it's probably a good time to just rock and see if you have any knock in your ball joints, if you have any slack. Now there's some slack here on your brake caliper. You can kind of hear that rocking back and forth. Go ahead and check your brakes. These have plenty of pad on them. Just go ahead and check your bases. You can look right down in here and just see if you have pad, or if you're metal, you're on the metal. Good time to do that at that point. Okay, and you can feel across your rotor. This one's got a little bit of a groove. Looks like we're kind of wearing down a little bit. Mindful of this half circle right here. It actually goes in this notch. There's 2 notches. Okay, and we just slip that into that notch and push it down. If it doesn't go one way, stick it in the other notch. There we go. The ride seemed like it might have improved, definitely from rotating the tires. That helped because the tires were pretty worn in the front. But and that sway bar link, that may have helped a little bit tighten the front up, and possibly the struts. But we're going to go ahead and put the new shocks in the back, and hopefully that's going to tighten it up. So we'll be doing that shortly. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.